Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome back to Bit by Bit Tech. So in phase 1 and phase 2 we built the foundation, but today we turn our script into a professional point of sale, that is POS system. So we are not just looking at to prices anymore. We will manage the whole store. Today we will implement the real-time inventory management, GST calculation and a dual table analytics system. So let's dive in. So the biggest update that comes out, that is the update stock function. In a real supermarket, when an item is sold, the shelf count the shelf count must go down, right? Our code now handles this query using an update query. So now if a customer buys a USB-C type hub and the quantity of the product is 2, then it will go down to 198. We have also added a critical check inside the billing function that if a customer wants 10 apples but you only have 5 in stock, the system flags it immediately to prevent negative inventory. We know that professionals do not store everything in one place, so we have moved to a relational database model. So what is this analytical table or analytics table, and what is this billing details? So analytics table is the master table. It stores the total bill value and the tax for every transaction. And the billing details, it is the itemized list. It records every individual product brought under a specific bill ID. And we have also created a bridge between analytics table and billing details using the billing ID retrieves function that will retrieve the billing ID from the analytics table. What is the use case of this function? We will discuss this in some time. Any transaction is not possible without the taxes. If you go in any supermarket and buy anything, then you must give some taxes, right? And we need to calculate that. For that, we are giving an option to the cashier to input the GST value dynamically, and we'll calculate that accordingly in the total payable. And here we are using Python's math module and the cell function to convert the total payable after calculation of GST in a human readable format so that we can provide a bill or generate a bill and provide it to the customer. So before getting further into the Python code, let me just show you guys the table we are using in the database. So these are the tables: customer details tables, product details tables, analytics table and billing details table. So customer details table, analytics table and billing details table are complete null because there are no data has been entered. But the product details table, we have some products that are been inserted. So we have 54 products in our supermarket. So those were some of the major changes that has been done as compared with part 2 code. So now let me give you a total overview of the whole program, right? So that will be much more easier for you guys to understand. So the main entry point again is the main function. We are calling up the main function and that will trigger the main function here. And once we get inside the main function, it will ask the cashier to give the input of the customer phone number, right? And once we got the customer phone number, we'll try to find out if it is an existing user or not. And to check if it is an existing user or not, we will call up the function, the data retrieve function, that is this one. If we got that this is an existing user, then we will start the billing immediately. And if it is not, that means this is a new user, then we will start the registration process using customer entry function that will insert a new user in our customer details table. Okay, so if you are not able to find out or understand that how this customer entry or the data retrieve functions are been getting into action, then you can check out the first part of this series. Okay, I will link that in the description. So once we got the customer registration or login done, then we will start the billing. Once the billing has been started, then we will show that billing has been started, and at start we will initialize the total payable as a 00 float. We will initialize a count variable and its stop option. So this stop option is here to stop the loop. So it will get into action once there are more than one iteration has been already been done. And how that can be done? Using the count. So we will check if the count is greater than 0, then only the stop option will shown to the cashier, otherwise it will not. Now once we get the stop option getting pressed or S getting pressed by the cashier, the loop will break. Otherwise, if it is not getting pressed, otherwise we will first increment the count variable to validate that this check, otherwise this validation will not work, right? So that's why we have to increment the count variable. After that, cashier will give the input of the product ID. Once the product ID has been given, the product details has to be retrieved, and product details, for retrieving the product details from the product details table, we were using this function, and using the simple select query we are just retrieving the product details from the product details table with the PID. Okay. So once we got all those information, we will show the product details like product name or product price and how many stocks are there in our database, and those will be get printed or get shown to the cashier. Then cashier will give us the input of how many products our user is or customer is buying, that is the product quantity. Now here we are checking the quantity user wants to buy, is it truly available in our stock or not. If it is 0 in our stock, that means the product stock in our database is 0, or if it is less than the customer requirement, then we will show that product is not available in the stock. Otherwise we will continue to calculate the total price, and once we calculate the total price, we will update the stock using the update stock method. In the update stock method, we are using the update query to update the total stock in our database. After that, if we move forward, we will again retrieve the customer details using the customer phone number, so that we can pass on all those details in the bill data entry function. In the bill data entry, we are passing on the customer details 0. That means if you see the customer details table, customer 0 is CID, that is customer ID. Second is customer details 1, that is customer's full name. These details will be get passed on, and this is the product ID and the product quantity. This is the billing details table. You can see that is the customer ID, customer name, product ID, product quantity. These details will get passed on and get entered, right? So if we get inside the bill data entry, it will take the customer ID, customer name, product ID and the product quantity. So once we get inside the bill data entry function and we pass on the customer ID, customer name, the product ID and the product quantity, then it will try to retrieve the bill ID from the analytics table, that is this one. We are already inside the analytics table here, and we will try to retrieve this bill ID. Okay, how that will work, let me show you. So we will select the bill ID from the analytics table, and we will order the bill ID by descending order. so that we got the latest bill ID that we got here. Okay, once we execute that, we got the latest bill ID that we have in the analytics table. Now at the initial state it is null. In that case this will give us as none. Okay, so we will return the bill ID. But now what will happen once we return, at this case, as you can see, there is no data is getting inserted, or there is no data in the analytics table, right? So we will get none. In that case we need to handle. That's why we are giving this condition that if the bill ID is not none, that means we have some data here, right? And we need to add the bill ID as the next bill ID that we have in our analytics table. That means what I am trying to say, that let's suppose we have bill ID as 1. Okay, so what we will insert in this table, that is billing details table, will be 2, and then once that billing details or transaction is completed, that 2 or bill ID 2 will get inserted here. I hope it's clear. If it is not, please let me know in the comment section. Okay, so now let me describe this part, that if the bill ID is not none, that means we have some data here. In that case we will increment the bill ID that we got from here by 1. If it is none, then we will initialize the new bill ID as 1. Now once we got the bill ID, we will insert into the billing details table the bill ID, customer name, product ID and product quantity. Okay, once the bill data entry function is over, then we will count the GST value, and this else is for product details. In case there is no product has been found, in that case it will show that no product details has been found. After that we will count the GST, will take as input from the cashier. Let's suppose the cashier forgets to give the GST value. In that case we will initialize as 0. The GST value will be 0. Otherwise it will be the GST value that the cashier has been given, that is either 5% or 18%, like that. And we will calculate the total payable with the GST value, and we will update the analytics table. After that we are just returning the total payable. Okay, let's this one. Now let me just give you a little demo of how this function will run. Okay, so let me just run this code, and before that let me show you guys the tables again, so that we can do a fresh start. The customer details table is empty, product details table we have 54 products, analytics table is empty, billing details table is also empty, right? Okay, so now we will give a phone number, that is a new phone number, so we will need to register the user. Here we got the message that customer details has been inserted. So now if we check, we should have one customer in our database. You see, we have one customer, that is this one, which has been created just now. Let us start the billing. Now let's suppose user has taken product ID 2, that is the ultra wide monitor. Product price is 350 and we have 191 in our stock. Let's suppose user has brought 2. In that case this is the price. Okay, and let's see if our stock has been updated or not. And also the billing details should get updated. You see, there is a billing has been generated. That means this is the function of this table, the billing details table. For per product there will be an entry, that is the billing ID 1, customer ID 1, customer name, and the product ID 2, and the product quantity is 2, right? And let me also show, see here it is reflecting 189, we had 191 and now we have 189. Let's suppose Next we'll try the product ID with 3. So let us check. Now we have in the USB-C hub we have 199 products. Let's see. We will continue. We'll take the product ID 3, that is USB-C hub. We have 199 products. Let's suppose we have taken 3. In that case, you will see it will get update, and 199 minus 3, that is 196. Product details or product stock is getting updated. And in the billing details, you will also see that the customer ID with 1 and customer name with Arghya is buying product ID 2 of quantity 2 and product ID 3 of quantity 3, but there is no data till now in the analytics table. Now let me stop the transaction now. Now once it is stopped, we will give the GST value. Let's suppose we are giving the 5% GST. So this is the total payable after GST calculation, right? So now the analytics table will be get updated. See, we have one customer, product details are also been updated as I have already shown you. In analytics table, you will be able to see the total transaction, whole transaction, that how much the total bill was and how much GST was been applied on the total bill. Let me rerun it again. Let's suppose we will enter another new user, okay, some random phone number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, okay, and as it is also a new customer or customer phone number, so it will ask for the registration. Let's suppose, let me give John, DOE, John Doe, Germany as the address. Customer details has been inserted. Let's suppose user has bought the product ID with 5 and it has 30 amount of stock and its price is 89. It is mechanical keyboard. Let's suppose he has brought 4 in quantity. Let us continue, and let's suppose he has brought the product ID of 7 and it has stock of 12 and the price is 129. Now let me check this part, that is if the customer is buying more quantity than we have in our stock, in that case it will not get it calculated, right? So let's suppose customer wants to buy 13, that is more than the product stock in our database. In that case it will not calculate, that is it is showing that product is not available in the stock, right? And again it is continuing. Let's suppose we are giving the product ID. Let's suppose again we are checking, we are giving more product than in our stock. In that case it is also show that product is not available. And if I now stop, in that case these things, the price per product ID 8 and price per product ID 7 will not get calculated, right? That is expected. So I will give the GST as 5. Let's see. So this will take only 359 and the GST of 5% of 359. That is, let's see if it is reflecting here or not. Okay, customer details has been updated, product details will also get updated. I am not checking right now. Analytics table is also updated, and billing details, you see John Doe, for John Doe only one product, because for the other two the product was not available, right? So that's why there is no data been inserted. So yes, that's all about the billing application for any supermarket. So we will update this program again, and if there are any further update, I will again upload a video and a tutorial on that. Till then, stay hungry and stay curious. Thank you. Bye bye.